and welcome. This is Ashley's Heart Song on the Win Win Women TV network. This is the place where we get out of the stress and back into our body, our life, and our business. When we tap into the song of our heart, that is when we master the mind and the stress that steals our life. Welcome to this episode of Ashley's Heart Song, where we are going to dive all into the 3 mindsets. And we're just going to get all inside of these, and I'm going to define them for you. I'm going to show examples, and I'm going to leave you with a pro tip at the end that is going to help you rise, get more integrated into the growth mindset so that you don't find yourself falling into what I call the muck puddle mindset. Before we get rolling, though, let's tune into a quote, an inspirational quote to get us started in the direction of the mind. Buddha states, the mind is everything. What you think, you become. This statement encapsulates the essence of what we're going to be speaking to today. It brings in the power and reminds us of the power that our thoughts have. And that at any given time, the thought that we have is going to create whatever we find ourselves in. I was listening to a song the other day, and it had the most interesting statement to it. It said, "We are what our situations hand us. It's either sadness or euphoria." And I want to go just a little bit further and say that it depends on the soil you have cultivated. The soil of the mind that you have cultivated determines whether inside this situation that you're becoming, you are in sadness or you are in euphoria. Because we have the power to look at situations from many different points of view, and we get to choose which points of view we want to lead us in our life, that we want to actually plant our feet firmly inside of in order to become more of that. So my question for you today, as we're looking at our vitality score, I'm not wanting to go into all of the vitality score today. I just want to look at the one, and that is your mental body. And as you are looking at your mental body score today, how you are today inside the mental aspect of you, your mindset, your frame of mind, I want you to reflect on this question. How often did you find yourself in the last week inside the muck puddle mindset? And to me, muck puddle mindset really does state what that is. That is the land of uh-oh. The land of, not good enough. Nothing ever comes my way. It's that area, that land of muck. So how often were you inside that versus what I call the sunshine state of mind? When you look back to last week, does that help you see what your score is today? And as we go through these mindsets and I begin speaking about them a little more deeply, then I believe you're going to gain more understanding as to why your score is the way that it is. So the first one, the muck puddle mindset, we got to talk about it first. That is the toxic mindset, as you can tell. As you can just guess, it is so toxic. It is that type of day, we're going to call it a day in the muck puddle mindset. It's the type of day that you're just walking along, minding your own business, and you find yourself splat right inside all of the murkiest muck you could ever imagine. And you find yourself sinking deeper and deeper and deeper into that muck puddle. And you'll find that inside that muck puddle, there is below the line thinking. And what do I mean by below the line thinking? You can Google search an emotional spiral, and there's going to be a picture that'll come up that is the emotional spiral. And it's a spiral, and it has a big end at the top, and I don't know if you can see that, big end at the top, and it funnels down, and then you'll notice that there'll be a line, and then it funnels from small to big. So it goes from big to small, there's the line, and then small to big. And there are these emotions at every one of these spiral lines. There's an emotion. And above the line, those emotions are love-based. They have a higher frequency. And a frequency is a measurement of the wavelength that emotion causes. So we all recognize that we're not only a physical body, but we are an energy body. We are magnetic. And there's a lot of magnet tools out there that people use in order to get centered, in order to heal a joint. There's magnetism out there for us to tap into. And our emotions are along those same lines. And it's called a frequency. And if it's above the line, it's love-based, and that frequency is higher. If it's below the line, that's fear-based emotions, and those are lower. And those lower frequencies create more acid in the body, and the acid in the body creates more unrest and dis-ease in the body. You could have digestive upset. You could find yourself running into inflammatory issues. Many things happen when we have an acidic state, and those emotions that are below the line, when they're lived in continually. So if you find yourself, you landed in the muck puddle and you stay in the muck puddle, then you are going to find that those frequencies that you're living in, those emotions, are creating more acidic in your body, the environment of acid in your body, which is going to create more distress for you. And that creates more stress in your life. And we know what happens when we're in stress. When we're in stress, that is when the body holds on to fat tissue and it utilizes lean tissue for energy. So the Muck Puddle mindset is not really a very healthy place to live inside of for the long term. But how many people do we know? Each of us know, and it could even be us, that live inside that muck puddle mindset where you feel like your feet are stuck in it and you can't get out. There's no way out. You feel like there is really no way out. As much as you try, you're just going to find yourself back in there again. And that is what that mindset does to you. It makes you feel like it's no use. It's your lot in life, and this is where you landed. Well, no, it's not where you landed. Is it hard to go from living inside that muck puddle to living in the sunshine state of mind? Yeah, it is. It's challenging. It's tough. It tests you at every turn. And again, I'm going to give you a pro tip at the end to help you with this. So a description of the person who is in the muck puddle, that would be a person who sees the glass as perpetually half empty. They dwell on the negative and they find that it's hard to see the light. It's like being stuck in a rain cloud continually and it just won't clear. That's what it can feel like sometimes. And if you are one that feels that you are stuck in this state of mind, then reach out for help. If it's not reaching out to me, reach out to someone that is close to you, somebody in your life, in your world. Reach out to them and let them know that you are in that muck puddle and you need help getting out of it. You need some tools. You need some coaching. You need a shoulder. And the thing about the kind of help that you get when you're in the muck puddle, it's not about pouring out your muck onto someone else. It is about leaning on that person, leaning on their strength, leaning on their belief in you that you can get out of the muck puddle, and you rising into that growth mindset. And we're going to be talking about that here in just a minute. But rising into it, working to be more positive, to see the light, to see the yellows, to see the oranges, to see the good, to see what's possible. It's really, and you may really have to put a thinking cap on to do that, but that's what that is all about. So if you find yourself that you are one that complains at every setback and you let those little things ruin your whole day, then you could be caught in a muck puddle mindset. But on the flip side, we have the sunshine state of mind. And in the sunshine state of mind, this is the land of positivity. This is where everything is seen through rose-colored glasses. This is where you may be guilty of people saying that you live in a glass house or a bubble and that you don't know reality. But what I am telling you is if you live in the sunshine state of mind and people have told you that, I want to let you know that that is the reality. That is the reality because it's the reality you choose to see. At one point in the anxiety years that I experienced, I went to a therapist. And this therapist, I do have to say, did not help me. This therapist told me that I was one who saw everything through rose-colored glasses. I lived in a bubble and I believed that everything is okay. Everything is good. Everything is right. Everything is just. Yeah, bad things happen, but by golly, that's not what I'm going to focus on. I am going to focus on the good. And for a person that is having anxiety and that is terrified and scared to death, that I could even do that is probably pretty amazing and probably kind of contradictory at some places. But I'm telling you, it was the thing that that gave me hope. It was the light of hope that guided me through it. But this therapist told me that my smile was a lie and that I was, golly, it's so interesting. I have resolved this so much, I can hardly remember what he said to me. But he said that my smile was a lie and that I was in hiding, that things in my life were not good, that people in my life were mistreating me, which was not true. That things were just, he just painted this horrible picture of me and my family and my friends and what was happening in my life. And it was like, oh, wait a second, dude. Well, I left that appointment even more in a state of anxiety than I had before. I was deeper in it. And it really concerned my mom. And I remember telling my mom, I don't think I can go back to him. I don't feel better. I feel worse. She goes, you don't have to go back. And I didn't. And so when you seek out help from someone, I want to let you know that there are a lot of good therapists, counselors, coaches out there to help you with this. There are a lot of phenomenal people who care and love you and will love you when they hear more about your story. But if you find yourself sitting in a chair opposite of someone, and when you leave that, you don't feel better than you did before, or feel a stream of hope, or feel that, yes, light is at the end of the tunnel. If you don't feel that, then march out those doors faster than you walked into them. Get out of there fast. Your mind is fertile. Your mind can be influenced. When you're in the muck puddle mindset, your mind can be influenced to go deeper into the muck puddle. And if you have a sense that that is where you're headed, then leave that person's office, that person's door, that phone call, whatever it is. Leave, and do not look back. Because on the other flip side of the muck puddle mindset is this sunshine state of mind where everything always works out. It's where we have the faith that we can step into and we open ourselves up to the light of what is good, what is right-minded. People with this mindset lead with their heart. Their minds are clear, they laugh easily, there is joy present in their life, and they're open to receiving more of it. They are ready for what comes their way because no matter what it is, their attention and their focus is on what is good inside of that. And that is what leads to the next good thing. There's always a silver lining, no matter how dark the cloud. An example of a person in a sunshine state of mind could be a friend who, despite getting a flat tire, is so grateful that it didn't happen on the highway. And they see it as an adventure, not as something bad that happened to them. Y'all, and then we have this mindset that is the tightrope walker mindset. This is the one that does the balancing act between the muck puddle and the sunshine state of mind. And this is probably where most of us land. Most of us land straddling that line. And we feel pulled, and we find ourselves in the muck puddle, and we stay there maybe 24 hours, 48 hours, and we go, oh my gosh, I can't stand it. It's so heavy. I've got to jump in to the land of sunshine. I will feel better when I'm there. So if you are that person that is straddling the line between the toxic mindset and the land of positivity, the idea is not to never be inside the muck puddle, but it's to get those times in the muck puddle shorter and shorter and shorter, because y'all, we are all human beings here, and we all have a fear-based mind. Every person on planet Earth is born with a fear-based mind, because that mind, that brain, keeps us alive. It watches out for what could go wrong and protects us with the adrenaline and the cortisol, the shot of chemistry that gives us Herculean strength and speed, quick thinking. And we want that, and we appreciate it. However, we want to not reside inside of that stressed living, because it's not good for us. As I stated earlier, it creates more acidic in the body, which is not a good environment for health. So we want to be in this state of the positivity. And yes, we all have distractions. We all have drama that can pull us into the muck puddle, but it's catching it and getting back over into the land of positivity. There is a story in the Bible that I love, that I feel depicts these three mindsets so beautifully. And it is the story of Lot and his wife. And the story is long. It covers several chapters, but the part that I'm going to hone in on is really short. It's just a couple of lines in the Bible. But when you look at the mindsets of these three areas, of the story that I'm going to point out, I find it very fascinating. Pardon me. I find it very fascinating. So we talked about the muck puddle mindset. So if you read the Bible, I've read the Old Testament, this story is in Genesis, and it's Genesis 13, 14, 15 through to 18 is the big long story from Abram and his name becoming Abraham, and Lot being his nephew, and all of the kings in the region that were at war with each other, and what happened to the city of Sodom. And it is, so it maps out all of that, right? With all the history and all the kings and everything. But the point that I want to come to is when the two angels show up at Sodom to get Lot, because he is Abraham's nephew and Abraham is favored. And so Lot is to be brought out of the city of Sodom before it is destroyed. And so he says, yes, I'll go with you. And, Lot is one of those guys that, God love him. When he's with someone that has that sunshine mindset, like Abraham, he is really good. But when he's off on his own, he can be influenced by other people, which means that his wife could also be influenced by other people. Would you agree? And his children probably too. So the angels come to get them, and they say, we have got to leave, and leave right now. And the instructions for them are to not look back. So we have Sodom, the city of Sodom, which is representing the toxic mindset, right? The city was about to be destroyed. And remember, I talked about your physical body when you are stressed, when you're in that toxic mindset, below the line thinking, you have more acid in your body, and dis-ease can set into your body. And that's destructive. So Sodom is about to be destroyed. That's destructive. You have Lot, who is going, all right, yes, I am headed this way. I am going to leave the city and I am not going to look back. And he's ahead of his wife. His wife is behind him. And his wife, all it says is that Lot's wife was behind him and she looked back and turned into a pillar of salt. Pillar of salt is a preservative. Salt is a preservative. And when she looked back, she was preserved into the mindset that created the condition of her soul. I'm going to say it one more time. She was one of those that was straddling the line. Lot had been straddling the line too. But what did he do? He ran and he kept looking straight ahead and did not stop. His girls followed him and did not stop. But his wife stopped. Maybe not stopped, but she looked back. She looked back and became a pillar of salt. So how many times have you been straddling this line and you're dying to get over to the other side of that sunshine state of mind because you know that more opportunities are going to come your way? You are going to have greater relationships, more powerful relationships. You're going to make more powerful contacts. Your business is going to grow. Things will expand for you in your life. You'll become healthy and vibrant and filled with vitality. But your toe keeps getting stuck in that muck puddle. And you look back and you go, what is that holding my foot down? Oh my gosh, that event happened 2 years ago and I'm still thinking about it. It's still drawing me into the muck puddle. And as it's drawing you into the muck puddle, it's preserving you into that state of mind even deeper and deeper and deeper. So we want to continue looking forward to the land of sunshine. The sunshine state of mind, that land of positivity, the land of growth, the land of spiritual growth, soulful growth, physical growth, mental growth, emotional growth, spiritual growth. So that you live a life you truly love living. I love that story so much and the representation of the mindsets and how when we keep looking ahead, we can get to our destination. But if we keep looking back and tapping and seeing our toe in that muck puddle and not freeing it for good, not resolving that issue and moving forward, we're going to find that our physical body is going to begin breaking down and decaying. Our mental body will become conditioned into the mindset that created that destruction physically. So what are you going to choose today? What will you choose? Are you going to be that tightrope walker where you keep going back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, which we're all humans, so we will do that a little bit. But do you want to reside over on this side, the sunshine state of mind? And then when you find your toe and you investigate, you go, what is it that's pulling me there? Let's resolve that right now. Let's put it in order. Let's take it through the truth process and do this. This pro tip I'm going to leave with you. And I love, love, love this so much. I've spoken about this so many times on Ashley's Heart Song, and it's the power of pause before reacting to any situation that you find yourself in. You know, I encourage you to practice that slow mode of operation. And so anytime you're in any situation, just pause before words come out of your mouth. Pause before a thought can erupt into your mind. And if a thought does erupt into your mind, just pause right there. Pause, stop, take a breath. Sometimes you might need 2 or 3 breaths. And then ask yourself, is this thought serving me and helping me to expand and grow? Or is this thought holding me back and keeping me down inside that muck puddle? simply by cultivating that habit of awareness, of noticing, wait, is this thought taking me forward in my life or is it holding me back in my life? Just by doing that one thing, you will get stronger and stronger at working with those things that are having your toe dip itself into the muck puddle, of resolving it, putting it in order, releasing it, letting it go, laying at the feet of Jesus, letting it go over and over and over again. Sometimes it takes one time to let it go. Sometimes it takes 100, 1,000 times. But if you keep pausing and practicing that pause, handing it over, resolving, putting it in order, handing it over, continue on, move forward, and don't look back. You will become stronger and stronger and stronger into that sunshine state of mind. Thank you so much for joining me for today for Ashley's Heart Song. I look forward to seeing you again next week as we continue to armor up our lives. See you then.